Most people think the worst thing a bank can do is freeze your account, but that's not the worst case because in the UK there's something far more final. Your account can be closed permanently, and in some cases you don't get your money back. No warning, no explanation, no appeal process that actually works. Just a message, your account has been closed. And suddenly you're locked out of the entire financial system. But here's the part almost nobody understands. This doesn't just affect one bank, it can follow you across the entire UK banking network. So in this video, we're going to break down exactly how this works. What triggers a permanent account closure? Why banks sometimes refuse to return your money? And what happens next when no bank will take you? Because once this process starts, it's very hard to stop. Let's start with something simple. A frozen account is temporary. A closed account is not. When a UK bank closes your account, they are ending their relationship with you completely. Your cards stop working, your online banking disappears, your direct debits fail, and your money is no longer under your control, at least not immediately. But here's where it gets complicated, because banks don't always close accounts for the reasons you'd expect. It's not just fraud, it's not just crime, sometimes it's suspicion. And suspicion doesn't need proof. Every transaction you make in the UK passes through monitoring systems. These systems don't just look for illegal activity, they look for patterns, unusual transfers, new payees, changes in behaviour, things that don't fit your normal profile, and when something stands out, it gets flagged. Not by a person, by an algorithm. Then it gets escalated to compliance teams, and this is where things can change very quickly. Because once a bank decides you're high risk, they don't need to prove anything. They just need to protect themselves. If your account gets closed, you'll probably ask why, and you won't get an answer, not a real one. Explanatory tone. This is because of something called tipping off laws. Under UK regulations, banks are not allowed to tell you if you're under suspicion, even if you've done nothing wrong. Especially then, so instead, you get silence or a generic message, we're no longer able to offer you banking services, and that's it. Now let's get to the question most people care about. What happens to your money? In many cases, the bank will eventually return it, but not always immediately, and not always in full. If your account is linked to an investigation, your funds can be held for weeks, months, sometimes longer, and during that time, you have no access to it. Rent, bills, daily expenses, all blocked, even if you've done nothing wrong. But the real problem is what happens next. Because once one bank closes your account, others can see it. Not directly, but through shared risk signals. Banks use internal databases, fraud prevention systems, and risk-sharing networks. So when you apply somewhere else, you're no longer a normal customer. You're a risk, and risk gets rejected. Again, and again, and again, until eventually, no bank will take you. This is called financial exclusion, and it's more common than people think. No bank account means no salary payments, no direct debits, no online purchases, no normal life. You exist outside the system. Now to be clear, most of these systems exist for a reason. They're designed to stop fraud, money laundering, serious crime, and they do. But the system isn't perfect. False positives happen, mistakes happen, and when they do, fixing them is not easy. If this ever happens, there are a few steps you can take. Contact the bank, file a complaint, escalate to the financial ombudsman. But you need to understand something. This process is slow, and it doesn't always end the way you want. So next time you open your banking app and everything looks normal, just remember this. The system behind it is constantly watching, analyzing, deciding, and if something doesn't look right, it doesn't ask for permission. It acts, and when it does, you may not get a second chance.